Hello, everyone from Freedomtax Accounting. Hope everyone is staying safe. We are an accounting firm here in Florida where we are providing the latest information in anything related to PPP, EIDL, SBA loans. Um, Today, we're going to talk about a topic that back in May we did a video of. So if you haven't seen that video, we go more into depth in this topic in that video we did in May. But basically, everyone's going after the PPP, after the EIDL loan for their business. And as we mentioned back in May, you should see if the PPP is your best option because it usually is. But in the last couple of months, with our clients, we've seen that there are cases where the PPP is not the best option for your business. So we wanted to touch back in this topic. Today's June 22nd. I always emphasize the date because if you have been following the latest PPP and EIDL loans, you know that these programs have been always changing, which they say one thing one week and then the next week is different. So whatever we discuss today may be different tomorrow. So that's the importance of subscribing to our channel so that you always get the latest information on any of these loans. Okay. Now, basically, let's go in. Okay. Let's go into, all right. So what are your options right now as a small business uh, in terms of SBA help? Okay, so you have the PPP loan, which is the one that everyone is going after, and today is June 22nd. You have 1 week left to get the PPP loan. What makes the PPP loan so attractive is the fact that it can be 100% forgivable. So we know why this program is very, very popular. You can also apply for an SBA EIDL loan, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. This loan is made up of two parts. You have an EIDL grant, which is $1,000 per employee, up to $10,000, and there's also the EIDL loan, which is up to, as of today, is up to $150,000. It's a 30-year loan with a 3.75% interest. If you're a nonprofit, that interest goes down to 2.75. And another option you do have, which is something a lot of people aren't talking about, but we have been talking about it since May. It's the ERC, which is the Employee Retention Credit. And once again, you should look at our YouTube video on this topic because sometimes the EIDL plus the employee retention credit combination is better than the PPC. And that's why it's always good get a consultation with a CPA that knows about these programs. If you don't have one, you can call us and we will evaluate your case. Okay? But we wanted to show you some examples. Now, you may ask yourself, which one's better for me, PPP or the ERC? Well, it all depends on your case. Usually, upfront, PPP looks like a better deal, but that's not always the case. And the thing is that you cannot use both programs. If you got PPP or are planning to get PPP, you cannot then use the employee retention credit. So that's why you need to analyze your case and see which one is better for you. Now let's look at some examples. Now these are actual, well, let's compare both programs first, okay? The employee retention credit is basically a payroll tax credit that you get when you file your payroll reports, okay? It's 50% of the wages and you get up to $5,000 per employee, okay? Now, this will not work for self-employed unless you are part of a PEO. Now, I've read the guidelines for self-employed PEO to apply for the employee retention credit, It's super difficult, so I'm just going to say that it's almost impossible for a self-employed individual without payroll to get the ERC credit. Okay. Now, compared to the PPP is 100% of the wages. You get funded for 2.5 months. You get paid through a forgivable loan. You get it through a lender. Self-employeds can apply, and SBA guidelines apply. But you do have to go through a forgiveness application through a lender. The employee retention credit is based out of IRS guidelines, not the SBA. So the IRS guidelines have been very persistent since the beginning compared to the SBA guidelines that have been ever changing every week. Plus, through the ERC with the IRS, you only have to send one application, which is the 7200 form, which we also have a video on how to fill out that form. And you do not have to go through a complicated PPP forgiveness application process. Okay. Now, also the employee retention credit, if you get it, the EIDL grant, if you did get the EIDL grant, those EIDL grant funds will not get refinanced into the loan, into the EIDL loan. If you got PPP, remember that if you get PPP and you also got the EIDL grant, whatever EIDL grant you got will affect your PPP forgiveness. Okay, so let's look at the examples. Now, these are actual clients and cases that we have seen here in our office. One example: we have a client that has 11 employees and has an annual payroll of $126,720. Okay, so now let's compare this case in both scenarios. This is the EIDL plus employee retention credit combination. Total payroll, 126,000, 11 employees. So they got an EIDL grant of $10,000 because they got it's $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. Plus, they're eligible for an employee retention credit of up to $55,000. That's until the end of the year. Okay, so because they have 11 employees and you can claim up to $5,000 per employee. So they have 11 employees, 11 times 5,000. That's where I get the $55,000 from. So the total benefit of the EIDL ERC combination is $65,000 in benefits. Now, this is not included that they also got an EIDL loan. The EIDL loan they got was around $75,000. Okay. Now, here's the same client with PPP. It's $126,000 of payroll divided by 12. This is their average monthly payroll of $10,560. We multiply that by 2.5, so their total PPP loan is $26,440. So right off the bat, you see that here they get 26,000, here they get 65,000. Okay. Now in their case, since they got the $10,000 EIDL grant, they need to subtract the $10,000 grant from their PPP forgiveness. So the max forgiveness they're going to get for PPP is 16,000. Plus they have FTE issues where it's the full-time equivalent rule that you have to fulfill in order to get PPP forgiveness, in which in their case they're having a hard time keeping up their employees with the same wages as before. So here you can see a case where this combination of EIDL plus the employee retention credit, it's better for one client. Let's look at another example. This client has $173,000 in annual payroll and he has 16 employees. Let's do the comparison again. The EIDL ERC combination, total payroll, 16 employees. They got an EIDL grant of $10,000. but they can claim an ERC credit of up to $80,000. So their total benefit is $90,000. In this case, they chose not to get the EIDL loan because they did not want to have another loan on their backs. They didn't like the fact of the collateral and all um, the things that you have to do to get the EIDL grant. Okay, um, if they got PPP, let's look at the difference. It's $173,000 payroll. This would be their PPP loan amount, 36,216. So once again, look at the difference. PPP, 36,000 over here, EIDL ERC combo, they get $90,000. Now remember, the PPP, they get those funds as soon as they're approved, and then they can get it forgiven. Under the EIDL ERC, they get the grant upfront, and these ERC credit, they get it during the year till the end of the year. But if you compare, you get, in this case, there's a lot more benefit using the EIDL and ERC combination, okay? So basically, we wanted to show you that each case is different. There are cases where PPP is not the best option for you. Yes, in many cases, PPP is better, okay? In the last 3 months, I can tell you we have been processing over, here at Freedomtax, over 400 SBA applications for our clients. I can say that maybe 80% of the time, PPP is a better option, but there is another 20% where, if you just saw, the PPP is not the best option for them. So work with your CPA. If you don't have one, you can call our firm, okay? Basically, this is our contact information. If you need any help, get a consultation with us and we will evaluate your case to see which program is better for you, okay? Now, thank you. God bless you. We're still praying for you. We're praying for your business. We're praying for your family, okay? Thank you once again. This is our contact information. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get the latest information always. And like this video if you think this information will help other business owners get value out of this information. Okay? Well, thank you and God bless.